Welcome to Swartz Talkin Sports. I'm your host, Les Swartz. We have got a great show for you tonight, and very special guest that we had a chance to catch up with earlier this week. Before we roll that interview, want to let everyone know to please hit that subscribe button. Let us know how we're doing. We'd love to get some comments. We have the comments section open. It's going to be open during the interview with our guest, Charles Oakley, which I'll be interviewing in a second. You can always find us on Google Podcasts as well as Spotify, also TikTok and Instagram as well. So we did get a chance to catch up with Charles Oakley. We got a chance to interview him on Monday. Former NBA great, played with the Chicago Bulls, and most notably, 10-year career with the New York Knicks. So we're going to roll that interview. After that, we'll come back with Benny the Book's picks, and then we'll follow it up with our wrap with the movie section and see who's moving on to the semifinals. But for right now, let's run the interview with NBA great Charles Oakley. Well, thanks, Charles. I appreciate you coming on. We've got NBA great Charles Oakley with us. And again, hope you had a good wedding this weekend, Charles, in Arizona.
It was fun. Just supporting some family members.
Man, that's cool. That's cool. So I want to get into it right away. So you had a great college career at HBCU at Virginia Union, Division II school. Player of the weren't you the player of the year? You're
in the state of Virginia, yes.
In the state of Virginia, and led Division II in rebounding.
Yeah. I think around 17 a game my senior year. Yes.
That's not too bad, 17 boards a game. And then the big thing is you get drafted, right? So I know you're from Cleveland, Ohio. You're from the Ohio area, correct?
Yes.
So
Johnny High School.
And you get drafted by the Cavs, and then your draft rights get sent to the Bulls. Now, or what happened there? Tell me your feelings on that night.
I mean, my thing was I was just glad to go top 10. They were expecting me to be a fourth rounder. And, rest in peace to Jerry Krause. He took a chance with me. And but no, they was telling me there's going to be a pick trade. So they said Cleveland's going to draft me, but I can get traded to Chicago for Keith Lee.
Keith Lee, that's right. That was the old Memphis State forward, wasn't it?
Yeah, Memphis State.
Big guy with the Jerry curls going in college. I remember that.
Alabama.
Was it Alabama?
Probably heard. No, yeah, you're right. Memphis.
That's right.
Memphis. I think it was Keith Lee went to. I don't know. It was Alabama in Memphis.
All right.
Yeah, you may be right.
All right. We'll have to check that out. We'll get our crack statistician on that one, right? But so you go to the Bulls, right? And this is. I think Michael Jordan had his first year, correct? You were there Jordan's second year?
Right, second year.
You get there, and, obviously I want to talk about your career because it was a long career and a great career. Your first recollection of Jordan or, at practice or being with him, the competitiveness of a guy like Jordan, what's your first recollection of him?
Well, I heard, being in Virginia, next state over is Carolina, and my college coach was real friend with Dean Smith, so we had talked about it. But once I got, to Chicago, as a rookie, you go through all, the press and the summer. They make you play summer league, work out, stay local, and get used to what's going on in town. But my friend's impression was, hey, it's a man walking on air. But I just had to come and do my job.
Gotcha. And good job you did. I mean, I know you were a rebounder supreme getting to the Bulls. Now, you played for Chicago for 4 years?
Altogether 4, yeah. 3, then I came back one more.
And you came back one more year. So now, who was the coach at that time? I know it certainly wasn't Phil Jackson. Was it Doug Collins?
When I first got to Chicago, yes, with Doug Collins.
Okay, Collins.
And Doug traded me to New York. Doug was a funny guy, but they talk about him in the documentary. But, he's the guy who played in Philly for many years,
right.
All-Star, after his career, he got into coaching. And probably coached over 25 years in the NBA.
Now, did those Bulls teams that you played with before you left for the Knicks, I think you played the Celtics in one playoff series, I believe.
Yes, that's when Michael had 60-something. After he came back from an injury. They tried to put him on minute restriction the first couple of games, but he said, if I'm going to play, I want to play. So after he said that, he got 60-something in the playoff, and but we lost. But it was the beginning of something real special with him in Chicago.
Absolutely. Hey, he might have had 60-plus, but you had 25 points and 15 boards against the C's.
Yeah, I was, for a guy from down from Cleveland going to HBCU, get to the league. I held my own pretty good. Only thing about it, I didn't get a lot of shots, but I didn't mind. I didn't mind playing a role, and I think in life that's what's wrong with the society, especially NBA right now. Guys don't want to accept their role, and that's why a lot of teams not winning like they want to win.
And I want to talk to you about that briefly. And I want, after we talk about your career with the Knicks, I really want to go over the NBA back then versus the NBA today, right? As players, style of the league, obviously much more physical, I believe, back in the 80s. You played it.
It was just it's a global market now, and that's what David Stern wanted. And the league, the money is not as global. The players is different. I think when I played back in my 18, 19 years in the league, you may have had 5% of the global market. Now it's probably 35%. So it's a big change.
I was going to say, look at all the players coming in from Europe, the
Yeah.
European flavor of the league now. A lot of Asian players now playing the league. Yao Ming kind of brought that to the NBA as well. Now you're at the Bulls, and then they make the trade to the Knicks, I believe, for Bill Cartwright, if I'm right.
Bill Cartwright and Kevin Duncan, I think. No, it was two players for me. So I know Cartwright was one of the face in the trade from New York to Chicago.
They make the trade. Are you happy about the trade?
Well, nothing I can do.
Right.
It's a business that you sign your contract to work for them, and they have control. They don't like you, they can trade you or whatever. But that was part of the business. I didn't hold no grudge against the Bulls. Jerry picked me. He took a chance with me, and I went to New York. I feel like with somebody I always want you got a chance to make yourself in the league.
And you team up with head coach Pat Riley. Coaching styles, any similarities with Doug Collins? It was playing for Riley completely different than playing with Doug Collins.
Totally different, two different persons. And Pat Riley was one of them guys. He's more of a controlling type. He had a philosophy when he coached, practice, and all that. What he believed in. Doug was the guy who run more of a two-man offense, and a lot of your 2-3 touch the ball. But Pat Riley was in and out with Patrick and the wing guy. But like I said, both of them were different coaches, and both of them played in the league at different times. And I think Doug played after Pat Riley played in the league, and it was just one of them things. I was glad to be on the team and I get a chance to play.
And you guys very successful with the Knicks. Unfortunately, I think you ran up against the Bulls a couple of times, the Pacers, some incredible games with the Pacers, and Reggie Miller. Any good stories about playing with? I heard Spike Lee yelling from the bottom there row, yelling at Reggie Miller. Any good stories there?
Spike was one of the guys. Hey, first guy on the court, throwing the ball, but when you played against Reggie and the Pacers, them guys, it was similar teams. In and out, Rick Smith and Patrick was the centers, and John was the 2, and Reggie was the 2 for the Pacers. But it was just hard-fought games every time we played one another. Wasn't a lot of trash talking. We also trying to get to the next level, get to the finals and go to, So basically, we had to go through the Bulls, and we had to go through one another a lot. And that's how the East was for them, like 8 to 10 years.
Like I said, and you guys, I think, made it to the finals that one year and played Houston, correct?
Right, 94. We won 7 games.
And that was Olajuwon and the boys, correct?
Yeah. Olajuwon ate us up, but it's one of the things. That's why he's one of the greatest center of all time.
Absolutely. And then a great run with the Knicks. 10 years, I believe you played with New York. Great run. What was it like playing in the Big Apple? I mean, I hear a lot of athletes talking about it. And is it something a little special or different playing in New York than anywhere else?
Well, I think it's special because, it's the mega basketball. You can't shortchange the fans. They understand the sports, all the sports, baseball, basketball, hockey, whatever. It's just the feeling you get when you walk in the garden. The fans, I mean, they can let you know that when you're not playing well. But it's just a special place because all the tourists, the celebrities front row, and you never know who might come to a game, and but we still have to perform. We can't get caught up with who's sitting courtside. Our job is to go out and win the game, but it's a special place to be.
I did dig up something on you that I find pretty amazing, and I don't think any player will ever do this again. In 1994, in the playoffs in regular season, you started 107 consecutive games. That sounds amazing to me.
Well,
107.
yeah. I mean, I was built for it. But then, guys tried to play the whole season, and then the playoff come. You really don't want to miss a game in the playoff. It was just I never, I heard that before, but when you play, you just play for your team, the city, the fans. It's New York. You never want to sit out because you never know who coming to the game to watch you play. But that's why I was the type of player I wanted to play every night. I wanted to play more minutes every game I played in. But some nights you couldn't play a lot of minutes. But that was always about working hard every night.
Toughest matchup for you down low? Who was somebody or a couple of guys that maybe, you had an easy time with? And maybe some players that were tough down low based on maybe it was their length or physicality or something, quickness. Who was tough down low?
I didn't look at it as a tough matchup down low. Some guys, get calls. Some guys don't. Like Shaq. I like to set Shaq because he's a bigger guy, and I like challenging. And you get Karl Malone's a guy. He's good power
Mhm.
forward, but only thing I like about him, he's flopped a lot. I think the one with the most of the move was Kevin McHale. He had all the moves. He played with Boston, so you couldn't be too aggressive because they give you a cheap call. So you almost had to play, you know, checker and chess every night with certain guys. But my really thing was just go out and just play hard every night and hope we get the W.
Now I know it's funny because I know with the Celtics and Knicks, big rivalry, obviously. And when you were with the
Yeah,
Bulls, you had to go through the Celtics when they were in their
yeah.
heyday. Was Larry Bird that big of a trash talker? I see these programs and they're saying he was one of the biggest trash talkers in the NBA. Did you witness
Never
any of
heard
that?
never heard Larry talk
Wow.
trash.
Okay.
Uh, maybe when it's in the dream team, that was more of a fun type
Yeah.
atmosphere. But once you get inside them lines, I never heard him talk a lot of trash. We played him several times in the playoffs. Never seen him. I know in person. Like we never went out and have fun together, but like just
Yeah.
cordial. Over the years playing against him. I mean, I didn't see him talking trash, but a lot of people. I mean, I don't let guys talk trash to me anyway, so he might talk to someone else, but he never talked trash. I never heard him talk trash while I was on the court anyway.
Gotcha.
But I do hear a lot of people saying that all these guys said this and that. I didn't see that,
Yeah.
but each his own.
Charles, I wouldn't talk trash to you at all. I'm just telling you. And I'm sitting here miles away from you and I wouldn't talk trash, okay? So you finished up your career. I know, so you had the good run with the Knicks for 10 years. And then kind of, at the end of your career, you played with Toronto, came back to the Bulls, Wizards, and finished up, I think, a couple games with the Rockets?
Yeah, it was just like a drive-by. Yeah, so it wasn't long at all. But yeah, I did go to Toronto. It was a great place. I had a great time in Toronto. It was just they was hungry for some type of good, like a team that can have a run and this and that. I think that after I left, the King Olajuwon came. Then you get Kawhi Leonard, who took him to win a championship. But it's a great city. The people is great. When they won that championship, that's the best thing that could ever happen to it because it was a new franchise came in the '90s and they were still trying to find themselves for building a team, how to structure a team. It's a hockey town, but
Mm-hmm.
once they won that one championship, it's just like the whole world changed. But up there, the people is great.
So you retire. What is Charles Oakley doing now? Like,
Well,
I know you had something to do with the 3-on-3 basketball. You still
yeah.
coaching?
Well, yeah, I'm coaching, but I coached a couple years in the league with the Charlotte Hornets down there with Mike when he owned the team.
Okay.
Working on my foundation, the Oakley
Yeah.
Foundation.
Can you
Um,
elaborate a little bit on the Oakley Foundation, kind of what it is and kind of tell everyone out there kind of, what it's about?
well, my foundation is totally different than most people you'll run across because we try to cover all kind of corners and angles to help people to go back to shelters in the city. We go to school, we talk to kids. But I do my Oakley experiment, so it's a whole bunch of different things. I like it like this because I don't want to just be a one cut myself off with one. I know other people need help in the other different areas, so I
Hmm.
try to provide for whoever we can help at the time. But no, it's just something I started 3 years ago in Cleveland. I seen it was a need for myself was always giving back, but I just need giving back in a way that people can see I'm doing it as a foundation. But we still looking for donors and whatever want to donate to the foundation. But once you come and see us live and what we do when we do appearances and stuff, it's special because I think that it's always some people need some help out here in the world.
That's very admirable. And I was going to say, if you ever want us to throw up a link or anything like that, or any information on the foundation, we'd be glad to do it in every show. Any way we can help you out and
Thank
your
you.
foundation out.
Appreciate it.
Now, before we let you go, real quick, two things: the NBA when you played versus the NBA today. Different styles, different players. We touched on it briefly before we came on. What do you think are the biggest differences between when you played now and the players now and today?
I think the biggest difference right now, and we played, I don't think management hold guys accountable. They got these new rules. Um, it's just the way it just run totally different. It's a global market now, and I think they clean up a lot of the physicality. I think that it's so laid back, and I think a lot of guys really don't go all out at all times, and you can watch games and see that it's so just it's sometimes it might be too laid back, but it's harder for me to watch this era, and I hear a lot of fans always talk about like once there's so many threes, why guys can't make free throws, why we see the same 1 or 2 plays in every game, high pick and roll, side pick and roll. Why is no defensive concepts no more? Only 3 or 4 teams teach that, and then the same teams that you see winning every year. But you know, the money is good. I guess the water's good.
The money's good. Those super max deals are incredible.
Yeah, but it's another thing. Like when we played, they hid the money. Now they can't hide the money. So now you got to pay less for your. You got to pay more and get less. And I think that that's a big part of the game too, because every time I watch a TV show or they begging guys, why this guy don't show up every game? Why this guy don't show up every game? But these guys making $50, $60 million. So why they not showing up? Ask the man who pay him. Because it's kind of embarrassing because they almost had to beg these guys. I hear this guy should be doing this every game. This guy shouldn't be, so it's a conversation about all the players now. But you got some guys show up every night and do their best, but that's how they say you build a house how you like it, and that's how the league built it to. It's a global market league, so physicality went out the window because the European players they're not physical as the guys used to play. Now everybody's into that slim look type body, body fat probably around a 7, 8. So basically your base is gonna be small. So there's not a lot of big bodies in the league no more.
Well, I wanted to ask you about the one thing that's very, very, I guess it's a big topic in the NBA today, and that's the load management issue, where, these guys, you're right, these players are getting paid millions and millions of dollars, these super max deals, right? And they're like, well, I don't want to play every 5th day, or I don't want to play every 4th day. But yet the fans are showing up, a lot of the fans are going to see a Steph Curry or a LeBron James or somebody, and they spend harder money to go to the games, and they don't get to see them play. What's your take on something like that?
Well, that's how they built it. I think it's a players' league. The commission allowed a lot of things to happen. He put rules in. He take rules out. But I think when you're someone who's been saving your money for 6 months or 7 months to see a special team, and like I said, that guy don't play or whatever. But they allow that in the league now. They're trying to change it, but it's gonna be hard to change because you don't know if a guy hurt or not. So almost you let some stuff come in that you can't change, and it's a players' league. So I just wish the players, if you're healthy, play. If you're not, I understand because 82 games. We played 82 games.
Right.
80 something plus.
You play 107.
Yeah, in the playoff. But I think that I mean, I don't know. My thing is watching the game now. If you got somebody you like now, you go see them now because what's coming in the next 5 years. It's once LeBron leaves, KD leave, Curry leave, the league. I mean, it's going to be global, but I'm saying they're going to jump from 30 some probably 50% in the next 5 years because with the magnitude what LeBron then bring, you're not going to see that too much more. I don't see that coming. It's coming global, but not from the guys from the U.S. So basically, you're going to have a global market team playing in the U.S. and then you see the guys like I said, Curry, LeBron, KD, all them guys, 80, once they leave, I don't see nobody coming up like them, can hold a torch like them. So I don't know who's going to be the next best guy after probably, like I said, Joker for Embiid.
And that kid from San Antonio, Wembanyama?
I don't know. I saw him play, but haven't played more than 25 minutes. So I guess they bringing them along real slow. That's
Yep.
a good thing to do. Don't throw them out there with them alligators and crocodiles. Let them just walk around the park to see how he gonna fit in. He got time. He's the first pick in the draft, so he gonna get a next contract. So being 7'4", as long as he don't get hurt.
Last question for you, and again, I really do appreciate you coming on at the last minute for this.
No problem.
But who's your pick in the finals, and who do you like to win it all this year?
My two West Coast teams gonna be probably be Denver or the Lakers. In the
Really?
East, in the East, probably gonna be it's gonna be Milwaukee or Boston.
Milwaukee or Boston. Who takes it? I'm putting you on the spot, Charles. Who takes it?
Who take it? Maybe Denver or Boston.
Denver. Well, I'm a Celtic guy from Boston, so I like that pick a lot. I like Denver. I like the
you
Celtics.
don't like to see the same team win every year.
I agree with you.
I want to see something different, but I think that Boston made some great trades.
Drew Holiday, great trade, right?
No, it wasn't great, but I think that the pieces they got. Well, Drew was a great trade for Smart because he understands the game, but Drew ain't gonna just come out. I think Smart got a little loose goose to it when he played with Boston because he went from more of a defensive player to a more offensive player.
Yeah.
And you got the two Browns there, Taylor and Brown. You got the scores, but sometimes when you're supposed to be a role player, you're supposed to play your role to a high IQ. I think that sometimes the glamour gets to some of these guys. That's why some teams don't go to the next step. But I think Boston, if they don't win it this year, they're not gonna win the next 5 years because they've been knocking on the door for the last 4 or 5 years. You only get 3 years and win them most of the time. But they made a great trade to add more pieces. Like I said, now Drew Holiday is a leader. He understands. So that was a big pickup for Boston.
And the window is closing. I agree with you. I mean, they got to do it this year because the window's
closing. It's just
closing.
like, you get to 2 or 3 years with Boston. Like I said, they made moves the last couple of years. They always going to figure out a way to make a move to get to the next level. But I'm saying is you got to sign Taylor. You signed Brown last year. So Taylor is up next year. And, I think my key was I love Williams. I think Williams was the key. If they would have played Williams last year more, they would have been in the finals. I don't know. They wanted to spread the floor with Al Horford, but it didn't work out. But Williams is a problem. He can block shot. He's active. He can get rebounds. He can play without the ball. But it's careful when you want space on the floor. Sometimes they can hurt you.
I like Williams. It was very athletic player. And I think they do miss him.
Sometimes you forget about the man who do the dirty work. But I think nobody I see in this league today play the way he played.
I agree. He's quick jumper. It's 6'9". He plays like he's a 7-footer, doesn't he?
Like Ben Wallace and all them guys here, undersized.
That's right.
It can get up in it quickly.
That's right. Ben Wallace. God, you're bringing back some memories of mine with Big Ben there with the
Virginia Union. We want Virginia Union guys. So
yeah, that's right. You guys got to stick together, right?
We had to fight down there to get what we got.
Well, again, I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule and hooking up with us and doing this. We'd love to do this again. I'm a big fan, big admirer of your game, and I love what you're doing with the foundation. That's outstanding.
Yeah. Please do it. Like I said, next time we talk, a lot of the stuff got coming out, so they want me to be, because, I came out with a book last year called The Last Enforcer. So,
okay. Can we talk about that next time?
Yeah, we can talk about the book, and I'm having about 2 or 3 other things to talk about too. So we got some content, so let's do it.
All right, Charles. Listen, have a great week. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you soon.
All right, thank you.
Again, a special thanks so much to Charles Oakley. That was an awesome interview. We really appreciate Charles taking time to come on Swartz Talkin Sports. And if you can, pick up his book, The Last Enforcer, I Know I Am. We're going to be right back with Benny the Book picks. Benny not with us. He's on a golfing hiatus right now. But I'll be back after this word with his picks and a little bit more after this.
High Tide Chiropractic, located in Leland, North Carolina, off Village Road. Dr. Levi Bradburn and his team specialize not only on spinal and extremities care, but also focus on sports injuries and a variety of chronic ailments. Treatment plans may include diet and lifestyle behavioral modification to achieve optimal health. Call us to schedule your free consultation, and we will design a personalized program to meet your needs. It's time to get the results you deserve.
Welcome back to Swartz Talkin Sports. I'm Les Swartz. Hope everyone enjoyed that interview with the former NBA great Charles Oakley. Benny the Book on a golfing excursion, and I've got a quick shout out to the boys. We got the Book, TC, Foxy, Bushman, Doc, Frankie, and Dale. So you guys hit them straight and hope the weather warms up for you a little bit. Before we jump into it, we're going to, Benny's picks, we're going to talk about the CFP playoffs and the latest rankings. The first rankings of the year were just released last night. I know a lot of people up in arms about some of the things that happened. Georgia dropped out down to number 2. It's Ohio State taking the top spot in the initial rankings. Not sure I like that one too much. Georgia, number 2. The Michigan Wolverines, who I think might be playing the best football of all, they're number 3. And the Florida State Seminoles, Mike Norvell's team, jumps into the top 4 right now. You could make an argument for the Washington Huskies. They haven't played great football the last couple of weeks, but they're still undefeated. And the one-loss teams I like here, watch out for the Alabama Crimson Tide. They are trending up and playing well. Oregon Ducks are right there. If it wasn't for a interesting coaching decision by Coach Lanning, I think they hold on and beat Washington. Are still undefeated here. But that's your initial top 4. I'm sure it's going to change. So I'd love to get your comments on who you think should be in the top 4. And does Ohio State warrant jumping the Georgia Bulldogs for number 1? So look at that. Our crack statistician, graphic producer, Tony doing it all right now. So we're going to jump into Benny's picks. We're going to look at college right now. So let's look at the Bix college picks, starting out with the Washington Huskies. Huskies on the road against USC. 3.5-point favorites against the Trojans. Both these teams struggling mightily. Washington, last couple of games, really barely got by inferior competition against Arizona State and Stanford. And USC has completely fallen on hard times. They've got 2 losses, and they barely squeaked by last week, 50-49. They had a good overtime to win that game. So looks like the Heisman candidacy of Caleb Williams is not going to be back-to-back. Penix Jr. with a big game could vault into the top 2 spots there. Second game up, Benny likes the surging Oklahoma State Cowboys in the Big 12. Getting 6.5 against the struggling Oklahoma Sooners. Sooners were undefeated, lost their first game last week to Kansas. Oklahoma State's won 3 in a row. With this win, they jump into the driver's seat with Texas in the Big 12. Washington State, the Cougs are back in action. 13-point favorites over the Stanford Cardinal. Benny likes the Cougars. Stanford has been putting up a lot of points lately. Would not bet against Stanford, but Benny likes the Cougars by more than 13.5 in that game. And the Arizona Wildcats are getting 2.5 against UCLA. Wildcats playing really good. They got that freshman quarterback, Fatita, I believe his name is, who's playing outstanding football, nearly upset Washington and won a big one last week. So he likes Arizona getting 2.5 against the UCLA Bruins. Benny, by the way, 19-14 in college football this year with picking. So against the spread, he is blowing away the competition. Good job, the book, on that one. We're going to look at a little pro football and see how Benny the Book is going to do this week. He went a perfect 4-0 last week, second time he's done it. We're going to look at the Book's pro picks. His first pick, it's looking like the Philadelphia Eagles. He likes with 3 points over the Dallas Cowboys. He likes the Eagles in that game to beat the Cowboys by 3. I don't blame him. Jalen Hurts playing outstanding football. Has to be the odds-on leader for MVP so far this year. Second game, Cincinnati getting 1.5 against the Bills. Bills kind of struggling a little bit lately, still leading or tied with the NFC East, or maybe they're a game behind the Miami Dolphins. But he likes Cincinnati. In Cincinnati, won 4 in a row. Joe Burrow back to being healthy. They beat San Francisco last week. He likes the Bengals at home. Third pick is the Cleveland Browns in 7.5 points over the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals just traded their quarterback this year, who is playing the first 6 games of the season, Josh Dobbs. He went to Minnesota, who needed a quarterback, but he likes the Browns. 7.5 points over the Arizona Cardinals. I like that pick as well. And his last pick is the New Orleans Saints, giving 8.5 to the Chicago Bears. Bears struggling. Not sure if Justin Fields is going to play this week, but they got blown out by the Chargers last week. Saints playing good football. Derek Carr has got that team doing pretty well right now. So he's got New Orleans. So to match up, he's got the Philadelphia Eagles, Cincinnati Bengals, Cleveland Browns, and the New Orleans Saints. A couple things to pass along real quick in the world of football. Josh McDaniel jettisoned out of coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Another Bill Belichick disciple head coach not doing so well in the NFL. Dave Ziegler, the GM, is gone with him. So I think Antonio Pierce, the linebacker coach, will assume head coaching duties there. Mark Davis had it up to here with Josh McDaniel. He's gone after 2 seasons. Also, some sad news to pass along in the world of college basketball. Hall of Fame in legendary head coach of the Indiana Hoosiers, Bobby Knight, passed away. 83 years old. Bobby Knight, 3 national championships and 11 Big Ten championships. Very volatile coach. A lot of controversy surrounding him, but the one thing you can't deny, he was arguably one of the top 3 or 4 best coaches in the history of college basketball. We are going to be back after a word from this with our movie Supreme. Who's moving on to the semifinal rounds in our best sports movie? We'll talk about that after a word from our sponsor.
Millie's Ice Cream Shop, a full-service store in the Waterford Shopping Plaza of Leland, offering an array of tasty treats, including both hard and soft ice cream in a variety of flavors and delectable combinations to appeal to even the discerning palate, assured to put a big smile on everyone's face. Stop by today to enjoy your satisfying experience.
After watching that, I need to go back to Millie's. I'm starving for an ice cream right now. Thanks. Welcome back to Swartz Talkin Sports. I'm Les Swartz. Again, great show tonight. Again, special thanks to Charles Oakley for coming on this week and joining us. If you get a chance, check out his book, The Last Enforcer. Can't wait to pick it up myself, and I can't wait to get Charles back on to talk about that. We started something a couple weeks ago with our pro football guy, Johnny Greyhound Irwin. Best sports movies out there, and we categorized them by best sports movies in football, baseball, basketball, and hockey, and other. We did it with a bracketology so similar to the NCAA basketball tournament. I want to thank everybody out there for voting. It's been awesome. We've got a lot of votes to tally up, so we're going to tell you how we're doing and who's moving on to the semifinal round. In football, the number 1 seed is retained. Remember the Titans. They will actually get a bye, and they will battle up against the 2 remaining football movies, and that would be Friday Night Lights and Brian's Song. Friday Night Lights, about the book by the same name, about the Odessa Perryman football team, and also Brian's Song, which was just a great movie about the relationship between Brian Piccolo and Gale Sayers. That was made in 1970. They played with the Chicago Bears. By the way, our chat is open, so let us know how you're doing. Let us know what movies we're going to do here. We'd love to hear your input on this moving forward. We're going to have the voting open for the next 2 weeks on this one, so let us know. So moving on to the baseball bracket of our best sports movies. If Field of Dreams retains its top spot, and that will get a bye into the next round, and that will battle the Major League and Sandlot. Who's going to come out of it? Major League or the Sandlot? Major League, hysterical movie, funny movie. Sandlot, everyone's great movie growing up. I think we all kind of relate to that movie. So whoever wins that will battle Field of Dreams in the semifinals. Moving on to the basketball portion of our brackets, we've got Hoosiers, the other number 1 seed so far. 3 number 1 seeds moving on. That gets a bye, and that will go against the winner of Coach Carter and White Men Can't Jump. I personally will go with Coach Carter. I don't know how White Men Can't Jump got this far along, but I guess a lot of people liked Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes. So we'll see who wins that one. And in the last bracket of the last region, it's going to be hockey or other. It's a little bit upset. Miracle was seeded number 1. And sorry, just had my producer chatting in my ear for 2 seconds, but was seeded number 1, and Miracle actually got knocked down to number 2. So Rocky will move on with the bye, and it's going to be between Miracle and Slapshot, 2 hockey movies, to determine who's going to go up against the iconic movie Rocky, a award-winning Oscar film with Sylvester Stallone. Who's going to win that one? So everybody, opening is going to be for the next 2 weeks. Let us know. We're going to be putting up graphics up there. You can click onto the link and bet and see, vote and see who's going to be moving on. So really appreciate your input on that moving forward. We are not going to be with us next Wednesday, the 9th. We're not going to be having a show. It's the first time we've actually skipped a show. We will going back live on November 15th, Wednesday, a special time, 8 o'clock. We're going to have a very special guest live, Irv Smith. We're going to be live with the former New Orleans Saints #1 draft pick and Notre Dame All-American. Can't wait to get some stories about playing for Lou Holtz. I think Irv played on a national championship team for the Irish. His son, Irv Smith Jr., current starting tight end with the Cincinnati Bengals. So really looking forward to seeing Irv on the 15th of November. Again, no show next week, but the voting is open for the next 2 weeks. I want to thank everybody again for tuning in today. Please hit that subscribe button. Let us know how you're doing. You can find us on Google Podcasts and Spotify. And please let us know if we can improve the show any way we can. Any special guests you'd like to hear or have us come on the show, let us know. We'll do our best to get them. We got a quick question on the chat real quick. What do you think is going through Bill Belichick's mind? Is the NFL coaching only what you have done for me lately role? I don't know, but Bill Belichick, with 20 years of incredible success with the Patriots, maybe he's earned a few years of subpar coaching. Listen, the bottom line is, in my opinion, Bill Belichick is sticking around just long enough to beat Don Shula's all-time record. That's the truth. I really believe that. The way it's going right now, he might have to coach another 5 or 6 years the way the Patriots are playing, but I think that's why Bill Belichick is hanging around. I know he does not have any chance of making the playoffs this year, next year, unless he gets some players, but he's sticking around to beat Don Shula's record, and there's got to be some agreement between him and owner Bob Kraft to see him do that as coach of the Patriots. The last thing Bob Kraft wants is him to break that record coaching with another team. Another quick question here. Do you think it's because Brady left and just took this long to take effect? Could possibly be. I know the big question out there was, is it more Brady? Is it more Belichick? I can only answer that by one question. Tom Brady's won a Super Bowl without Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick's never won a Super Bowl without Tom Brady. So take that for a grain of salt. I don't care. It is what it is. Vote for the finals again for the movies. That's going to be on the link as you see it right now on the bottom of your screen. So that's going to be on all the comments section. Check it out. And we got another comment from friend Paul in Chicago. Charles Oakley, always a Chicago favorite. And Paul, appreciate you tuning in and checking out that interview. We are definitely going to be looking at getting Charles back to maybe talk a little bit more about his book, and maybe as we get to the NBA playoffs, get his pick on who's going to win the NBA championship in the midway points. So we look forward to hearing and talking to Charles Oakley again. So I want to thank everybody tonight for tuning in. Again, check on the link in the comments section. Vote Best Sports Movies. We'll see who's moving on to the semifinals. Again, no show next Wednesday, but we'll be back on the 15th with Irv Smith. I want to thank everybody. Thank my producer, Tony, and we'll see you next time on Swartz Talkin' Sports. See you, everybody.